Hey everyone, I hope you're all having a wonderful day today. I want to record another quick video for all of you. There's been a couple of things that have been on my mind and I just wanted to share them with you. I get asked a lot how I'm able to just handle my accident, how I've been able to deal with it, what I've done to just kind of accept my situation. And I kind of just give my answer, but I've never really felt like I've had an actual good answer to give. And I heard this podcast, or it was on YouTube, about a guy named Hal Elrod, and he shared his story, and I just kind of listened to what he was saying, and I felt very connected, and we had the same views on life about after going through a life-changing injury. And I've also been reading this book right here, and I just wanted to share a couple things that I have learned from watching his video and from reading this book. And maybe some of you will benefit from it and others won't, and that's okay. I also want to say what I'm going to share, some of you may not agree with it because I'm going to be talking about your mindset, a person's thoughts, how a person's thoughts can control our emotions, and how our emotions can affect the way we behave. So I'll start off by talking a little bit about Hal Elrod. I'll leave a link to his video in the description below if you guys want to watch it. It was amazing. It inspired me, and it takes a lot to inspire me, but I was just listening to what he was saying, and his story was just amazing. It's kind of long, it's an hour and 20 minutes, but if you guys are interested in checking it out, I will just leave the link below. So, short story about Hal. He was 20 years old, and he was involved in a drunk driving accident. He was not drunk, he was hit head on by a drunk driver going 70 miles an hour. He broke, I think, like 13 bones in his body. He had a brain injury. His heart stopped beating for 6 minutes, and he shouldn't be alive. He was in a coma for like a week, I think, and when he woke up, the doctors basically told him there's pretty much zero chance you will ever walk again. And so he didn't have a spinal cord injury, it was a brain injury, but just his story and his outlook on life after that just really connected with me and hit home. But one of the things that he talked about in his video that really affected me was he talked about a thing called the 5-minute rule. And I had never heard about this before, and I just thought it was such a great thing to hear, and I just wanted to share it with all of you guys. So he goes on to talk about the 5-minute rule is in life, it's not a bad thing to get frustrated and angry. But he says, only do it for 5 minutes. And in those 5 minutes, you can scream, yell, punch stuff, cuss, do whatever you want to get those feelings out. And then after 5 minutes is up, move on from it. Or accept that it happened and do what you can to just continue moving forward. And I really thought about how that relates to me in my situation and just being paralyzed. One of the ways that I do deal with it is I just accept how it is. It is frustrating. There are times where I get mad, but there's nothing I can physically do, and there's nothing that in my control that can fix my situation. So what's helped me a lot is just knowing that in my particular situation, there's nothing I can do, and what happened, happened. I hope this is making sense, but a lot of what I do is just I focus on my current situation and not what happened to me. He also talks about in his video, a lot of people just constantly focus on past experiences and what happened to them and just stay there and hold on tight to the negative experience that happened. He says it a lot better than I do, so I don't want to try and keep talking about what he said. So if you're interested in seeing it or kind of like have an idea of what I'm saying but want to hear a better version of it, I definitely recommend check out his video. Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is just you can't control what happened in the past. What happened, it happened. So my accident happened, and I'm going to do whatever I can to just continue moving forward and focusing my energy on things that I can change and not on what I lost and what I can no longer do. And he talks about it a lot more and in depth, and it just really is amazing. Bree showed it to me, and like I said, it inspired me. We watched the whole thing. He also goes on to talk about, he gives a metaphor of in your brain, there's two different, let's say, books. You have one book on your left and a book on your right. And the book on your left has all the things that you are grateful for, so your friends, your family, relationships. And then on the other hand, these are all the things that are negative, the bad things that happen to you, the things that you don't like. And so many people are stuck on this side, focusing on all the things that they don't have, that they lost, that frustrates them, that irritates them, things that they don't want to do, that they dread. All the attention is focused on this side, and you have all these positive things that you still have to be grateful for, but don't really focus on them. And I think a lot of people do that, and I've been guilty of that in the past, and it's something I've learned is just, despite what I've been through, I still have things that I am grateful for, and there's still a lot of positive aspects about my life despite being paralyzed in a wheelchair. And so I just wanted to share that with you, and just, I don't know, he recommended writing down things that you are grateful for every morning, or when you're feeling anxious or frustrated, just sit down and just write out a couple of things that you are grateful for, and it actually helps change your mood. So again, it's by a guy named Hal Elrod. He also wrote a book called Miracle Morning. I have not read it, so I don't know, but it was like a bestseller. I just watched his video on YouTube, and I just wanted to share the 5-minute rule and just focusing your energy on positive things, things that are still in your control, versus just focusing on the past, on what happened, what you can't change. And it really does help. And that really is how I've been able to accept my disability, have a smile on my face, and inspire and motivate other people. I hope that made sense. So really quickly, I just want to go on to this book I've been reading. I'm not that far into it, but I've just read a couple sections in this book that have really touched me and just helped me continue being positive and moving forward. It's called A Buddhist Approach to Finding Release from Addictive Patterns. And I grew up in a Christian household. I've never really learned about Buddhism. And I've been kind of like reading into it. In one of my counseling classes, it's all about culture and learning about religions and different people's cultures. And we went over Buddhism. I just really like the idea of it, being in balance with your body and having your mind focused and being mindful. Bree actually found this book at her library for 25 cents, and I saw the title and thought it was interesting, so I read like only the introduction, and just even from the introduction, I have learned so much. I want to read out of it a little bit just because the book says it better than I do. Yeah, so this is what I wanted to share. It says, one of the main points about Buddhist teaching is that we can change our minds for the better. And again, that's what I want to emphasize, is just my mindset is the reason I'm able to maintain a positive attitude in despite of a crappy situation. And that's something that I've also been learning in counseling, is this won't work for everyone because other people are more emotional and they focus on emotions, and that's okay. I'm a lot more cognitive, and I believe my way of thinking controls the way I feel. Positive mindset is key. One of the main points about Buddhist teaching is that we can change our minds for the better. What does better mean? It simply means being in balance, not being thrown around by the rising and falling of events and experiences. It means we accept the world for what it is and ourselves for what we are without being upset. It means we give up the blame game in favor of checking out why we are unhappy. It means accepting the things we cannot change and doing something about the things we cannot change. Like I said earlier, just being okay with and accepting the things we cannot change and focusing on the things that we can change. I just want to share that with you guys, and it's something that I have already believed in. I guess didn't know how to get it out in a way that made sense. There's a quote I like that says, "Accept what is, let go of what was, and have faith in what will be." And that's something I absolutely live by. Just a couple more things from this book I want to share, and that'll be it. So this book was made to help people quit certain addictions, and I'm not reading it because I'm trying to quit an addiction, but they had a definition about addiction. Sorry, I said that word a lot in this sentence, but I just wanted to share it with you guys because I really believe, again, it goes back to your mindset. So it says, and this is this book's definition, so I just want to say that before I read it. It says, addiction is a mental habit in which there appears to be no conscious control. So when a person is addicted to something, and this can be chocolate, sugar, alcohol, drugs, anything. So I'm not just talking about substance. So it says there appears to be no conscious control. A person who's addicted to something consciously believes they don't have control over their addiction, but maybe unconsciously they still have the ability within themselves to quit that addiction, which there appears to be no conscious control, which gives short-term pleasure and long-term harm, and in which our own needs override the needs of others. I just thought that was really profound and wanted to share that with you guys. So lastly, in this book, there is this word called equanimity, and I had never heard about it before, but the definition of it is something that, again, I have learned, and it's a mindset thing that can be learned, and I wanted to share this with you because I think there's a lot of people out there that could benefit from it that have probably never heard about it, just like I have. The word equanimity, I'm going to give you the definition that's in this book. Equanimity is a quality we can develop which helps us deal with everyday stresses and to stay with and investigate part of our lives which may be quite painful. Equanimity is an aspect of the mind that notices what happens to us without going into dramatics. It's basically saying being aware of something that goes wrong and not exploding and acting like it's the end of the world or making a negative situation worse than it needs to be, whether that's getting a flat tire or sitting in traffic, because when has there ever been a time when something goes wrong and freaking out and stressing actually makes it better? It does not exaggerate events in our lives. It does not get wildly excited at each small change for the better, but notices the change is happening and is happy about it. Equanimity does not get consumed by anger when we do not succeed. It diffuses the over-the-top emotions that boil up when we do not get our own way. It notes what happens and what changes need to be made to start again. So that's basically it. It goes on. It has a really long definition, but I just thought, like, it's so amazing that we have the ability within our minds to learn certain ways of handling certain situations, mostly negative, but allowing ourselves not to overreact, not to over-dramatize certain situations, and just be aware and say, okay, this happened. It sucks, but there's nothing we can do about it. How can we go about moving forward? And I apply everything I just said here to my own life, and all of those things have helped me be able to cope with this life-changing injury that left me confined to a wheelchair. I hope that some of you will hear what I said and it'll help you and you can take away from this. I'll leave a link to this book in the description below if you're interested in buying it. I've only read like 20 pages, so I haven't read the whole thing, but I've definitely learned a lot from it already, and I just wanted to share Hal Elrod's story and this book and what I've learned from those two things just in the past couple days. It's just really been on my mind that I wanted to share this with all of you because I really feel like some of you out there could benefit from hearing this. So whether you did, that's awesome. If you didn't, I'm sorry. I just really felt led to share this. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Thank you guys. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you for the continued support, and I will see you next time.